Hello everyone, it is Foul Play here, and we're back for match 2 of this modern league up against Mr. Seri, and we won the die roll, so we are going to be on the play. Let's have a quick squiz at our opening hand. So we don't have any green mana here to cast the Slippery Bogle. We're also up against a Lurus deck, so this is going to be a mulligan. Alright, this hand's looking a lot better. We're going to keep this one and look to bottom... Probably Windswept Teeth there. I guess I could bottom Temple Garden and fetch Crack Windswept Teeth, or I could bottom Plains and fetch the Plains, but either way, it's just like one life less efficient for a Dryad Arbor 90% of games we're not going to need. So Brushland into Ozolith. It looks like it's a Harden Scales deck. We draw a second Daybreak Coronet, so it's just going to be a nice, gentle attack for 2 here. I'm going to look to find some flying or some trample here to get some damage through. Spirit Mantle as well. Welding Jar for our opponent. Canopy. Steel Overseer. Okay. Alright, so no like crazy damage through yet, but we do get to gain a lot of life here. We're going to be attacking for 8. Gaining 8 life, and even if they chump block and regen, like we're still gaining the life. So this damage is just going to go through, put them to 9. Then we are literally a Griffspoon or a Spirit Mantle away from winning, and I'm going to say Rancor away from winning as well, because we'll be able to play the Daybreak Coronet from hand. Our auras are getting buffed from all that glitters. So lots of positives here, as long as they don't go too crazy this turn and still let us out with a Hangerback Walker. Ancient Stirring, so that's a pretty good sign. They're taking 1 point of damage to do that as well, because it's off the Horizon Canopy. What are they finding? That's a very big revealed card zone. Inkmoth Nexus. Okay, well I'm gonna call that one a blank for our opponent. Playing the Inkmoth. Arcbound Worker. Another Arcbound Worker. Alright. So the line is probably like block and then Welding Jar. We're going to pre-combat that. Oh, that's a good one. So we attack for 12. They're going to chump block. They're going to modular onto, I guess, the other worker here, and then look to hold up Welding Jar to chump block again the following turn. I think we're okay. I think they're going to try and kill us on Infect with the Inkmoth Nexus, so we'll hold up Path for the Inkmoth, and Welding Jar's not going to be able to save it. We'll wait until they're at a stage where they're going to be dealing lethal with their creature as well, so we don't get blown out by like a Veil of Summer or something. Yep, so big old worker there. We go up to 37, which is negligible. They're almost at like the sort of mana, if they play 1 land, they can lure us plus Arcbound Worker and then have a chump blocker every time. Free chump blocker. Throne of Geth, yeah, sure. Hopefully they just go for the Inkmoth here. Sack the worker. Sure. So we'll wait until they put the Ozolith counters across, but they're pretty well and truly dead here. Alright, we'll get the old Patherini down. Ah. Wow, they get to put all those counters onto the Ozolith. Alright, that was really bad from me. I should have pathed in response to the Ozolith triggers going down. Alright, we do draw the Rancor though, so we don't get punished, and we get to hit on through for lethal with Trample. Yeah, there was definitely a better time to play that path. Alright, fortunately the Ozolith only like activates on your own turn, not on your opponent's, so we don't get punished from that. Alright, so Force of Vigor is good. Hushbringer is probably decent as well, not amazing though, because our opponent is going to have Abrupt Decay, Assassin Trophy. No, wait, they're not. They're going to have Paths. Seems just all round pretty bad then. Of course, Spirit Dancer is probably in the same boat as Hushbringer here. I think Spirit Dancer out, and then 2 Hushbringer, 2 Force in. I don't see Heroic Intervention being that important, but I could be wrong. They might be packing like some Ratchet Bombs or Blast Zones or something. Alright, so match 2, game 2. No creatures in hand. Are on the draw for this one. So we're going to have to throw this, look for a creature hand. This is a creature hand we're going to keep. And probably just bottom the Force here. I already have... maybe it should be Grifspoon. I already have interaction in the form of Path though, and I think the most important thing here is going to be being mana efficient. So no turn 1 play for our opponent. We draw a second Path. Alright. Well, we're not guaranteed to cast the Force of Vigor either unless we draw a green card. So pretty good here. Pretty good here. Hang a back Walker on 1. We draw Hushbringer. Can Hushbringer here and just like negate our opponent for a turn. It's bad if they do like Forest into Harden Scales plus Walking Ballista. I think the upside's pretty worth it. Let's just jam. I can't see myself wanting to buff Hushbringer, but just getting her down could be important. Can't attack now though. It's like that, or do I play like a Grifspoon attack hold up Path or Hyena Umbra attack hold up Path? It's sort of like they're both kind of medium to me. I don't really like any of them. There's the Harden Scales. Alright. Do you have Walking Ballista? I mean, it's literally going to eat the whole Walking Ballista for them to do that line, though. Or is their line, like, just uptick this Hanger Back Walker? Alright, looks like their line is uptick Hanger Back Walker. Let's throw down a Hyena Umbra. Just gonna attack the 3 here, see what our opponent does. If all they want is like 2 flying creatures as well, I'm not really that concerned about that either. I think I'll let them have it and hold on to these paths for like a juicier target. Alright, so... Oh, Harden Scales made it a 3-3, not a 2-2. Okay, right. My mistake. Maybe it was worth pathing. What are they doing now? plays a second Harden Scales. And the Force of Vigors would be very good here, but we would still have no way to cast it. And the Arcbound Ravager. Alright, with Ravager on the stack, let's get rid of this Hangerback Walker. They can, like, proliferate in response, but they don't get any tokens from it. Not proliferate, but put down, like, 3 counters on it, but that's fine. Just cost them 1 life, and it wouldn't work because Exile is not dies. Alright, so... Ethereal Armor and Grispoon now, and hopefully we don't play into anything silly. My opponent might Nature's Claim, so we might just slow roll this turn a little bit, and not just, like, skimp through the combat step. They're also down to 2 cards in hand, so they're starting to run out of resources, but so are we. We've got 1 resource in hand. I guess no matter how we killed the opponent's killed the opponent's Hangerback Walker at this stage, it wouldn't have mattered because our opponent Nature's Claim. Oh, that is a bad target, my friend. Alright, we'll path this in response. Because my Hushbringer has stops dying triggers from activating, so they wouldn't get the die trigger that gives them all the tokens. So we're going to path this in response. We're still going to get in for 3. They'll be left with 1 card in hand. They can put Lurrus into hand and cast it, but they'll have a Nature's Claim in the graveyard, which they can't cast. Alright, okay. They sack there and Ravager to nothing to put it into the graveyard instead of into exile. Seems fair. Opponent realizing they probably want to do the companion activation with the colorless mana, so they can immediately cast Lurrus. Spirit Mantle seems pretty snazzy. Right, let's start attacking for 3. We can leave Hushbringer on defense. Less concerned about my life total and more concerned about, like, my opponents. Also, Inkmoth Nexus can start getting massive soon with their Arcbound Ravager shifting across onto Inkmoth Nexus with double Harden Scales triggers, and then they can, if they draw a different artifact, Phyrexia's Core to proliferate. So it might be dead soon, but we can just chump block an Inkmoth Nexus with the Spirit Mantled Hushbringer. So there's Cycle Canopy for Ozolith. Get an Arcbound Ravager with 3. Get a Steel Overseer, wow. It's a pretty good rebuild for our opponent. It's a very scary board state. So they can just at like this stage sack Ravager across onto any creature. That's really bad for us. So we're gonna, because any like they can sack it to itself. Then the modular trigger will happen. So they'll get 3 counters across onto a creature, which will turn into 5 because of Harden Scales. So they could. Is it only onto an artifact creature? It is. 5. So Steel Overseer would become a 6/6, and I'm about to make my Bogle a 6/6. So I can attack. And likely what they'll decide to do is just chump black with the Ravager. They'll get 5 counters onto Ozolith, they'll get 5 counters onto Steel Overseer, and then next turn it's going to be a massive Steel Overseer. At which point I might be able to replay Grispoon from the graveyard. and fly over the top for the win. Pretty interesting game. Don't forget, beginning of combat on their turn, their Ozolith will trigger onto one of their creatures, and then we'll have a big problem in that sense as well. So, Ravager, chump block. So, that's an attack for 7, not quite enough to be lethal. If we put down our Grisboon next turn, that jumps our Bogle to a 10-10. They can chump block with Inkmoth Nexuses as well, though. So, definitely not through, not out of it. Hopefully they just draw land, because if it's land, they don't get to do, like, crazy stuff. It really limits their options. This is going to become a big problem, though, because Arcbound Ravager is going to enter with 3 every time. Steel Overseer is going to put 3 counters on it every time, so it's going to become a 6/6 quite a bit, like immediately. My opponent misplays with the Inkmoth Nexuses, though. I can just kill him. Oh, that's right. They don't get any modular triggers or anything because of my Hushbringer. Right. Okay. That's really good. Is there any way I'm just dead to Inkmoth Nexus this turn? They can pump there. I think I'm just good and I get a free block on Lurrus. I'm going to be very surprised if this does not work the way I think it does, but because I've got Hushbringer out. Oh, maybe Nature's Claim actually gets us here. Oh god, don't Nature's Claim. Don't do it. You kidding me, man. They don't kill us this turn, but they gain 3 life. What do I do to win from here, though? I draw, like, Griffspoon and Ethereal Armor on the top 2 cards of my library. I might be able to win. Alright. Well, we're not going to win with the Griffspoon line anyway, so let's sack these. Look to win on turn. That's a big pile of rats. Sentinel's Eyes. Gonna give us flying, not going to be good enough. Man, that was a really bad block. Sorry, not flying. Gonna give us vigilance, which isn't good enough. Dead rips like Nature's Claim off the top. That's so frustrating. And now he just kills us with double Inkmoth. So we'll activate both, activate the Steel Overseer, and then kill us. One will attack for 7, the other will attack for 4. So lame. So lame. Alright. I see it alone. I guess if I don't crack the Horizon Canopy and then I draw the Windswept Teeth, I'm guaranteed the Griffspoon, which means they don't instant die, but I won't be able to attack. Then I'm probably just like in the same rough spot there. Alright, so Hushbringer was actually reasonably good. I could next level their Nature's Claims with Heroic Intervention. It's not amazing though. Heroic Intervention only trades 1 for 1, and this is like 2 mana to answer a 1 mana spell. I think we want the third Hushbringer. Maybe minus on a Hyena Umbra. So saw 2 Nature's Claim that game. Made like a terrible chump block that lost us the game. Hushbringer hand. Did they board back in path? Sand is like so good if they don't have path. Alright, let's risk it. We might just lose as a result, but we have like flying trample, and like Daybreak Coronet as well. So many good auras in the hand. Turn 1 Harden Scales, sure. Rip the all that glitters. Well, we haven't got a quick hand, but we have. When like we go off, we get like really massive. These auras are very powerful. It's gonna be a little slow to go off though, because we have a lot of 2 mana auras in hand. See what they do this turn. Hushbringer obviously can be a big brick wall. Instead of playing a creature, they might look to just hold up Nature's Claim. I guess we can play around that by playing out our weaker auras. Metallic Mimic, okay, sure. Pendelhaven in hand. Second Hushbringer. Alright, well, we can throw down some auras on this one before we consider playing the next one. I think it's best to play Rancor Hyena Umbra here. It's most damage, and we gain life when we attack from it. Make it a little harder for a Walking Ballista to kill us as well. Guess if I want to make it as hard as possible for it to kill us, we just like double Hyena Umbra. It's like a very pretty art on Hushbringer, particularly in like the extended art foil. It like looks very, very nice. Sort of like interesting. The like secondary effect of like die triggers don't happen. Sometimes helps us and sometimes hinders us. It's an interesting one. I think with our totem armors, it allows like the replacement effect of the totem armor to still happen. Because like we're never dying because the replacement effect stops us from dying. It's pretty like convoluted wording like that. So a Knockbound Ravager enters as a 2/2. They attack for 2. Sure. Not that scary. Razorverge Thicket. Holding up for like an Abrupt Decay. So I think no matter what I want to do, I want to Hyena Umbra on my Hushbringer this turn to play around Nature's Claim, because they could Nature's Claim the Hyena Umbra, and oh, they can't jump block because we have flying. Alright, maybe that was a bad Hyena Umbra. I might have wanted to have put that on my next Hushbringer. I'm going to play my second Hushbringer out of hand. Second main here. I don't want to give him any good auras. We've got a like decent clock as it is. It might just be like, it's probably correct to just attack for the 4 and then Hushbringer and then put the Hyena Umbra on the second Hushbringer. And probably hold our Razorverge Thicket until our second main. Stirrings? Sure. What are you finding? Alright, no, like, snap something broken. But our opponent's deck is quite complicated and has like numerous lines that you have to think through. So just a snap decision is not always going to happen anyway. Unless they're like ridiculously experienced with the deck. I think these Hushbringers are stonewalling our opponent a little bit. They're definitely playing quite slow after we've put them on the battlefield. Alright, and there's the Walking Ballista, so that's going to be able to come on down, and it's going to be able to eat one Hushbringer, but the other one's going to be fine to continue on its merry way. Yep. Center is a 3/3, because of Harden Scales and Metallic Mimic. So all the glitters here will allow us to attack for 9. Ethereal Armor will give us the win. It's pretty good. Pretty gosh darn good. So now we're just dead to Force of Vigor, but I doubt they'd be running that and like multiple Nature's Claims. So I think we've got this one. Attack with both creatures, just, you know, because we have to. Alright, so we get the win there against Green-White Harden Scales. Yeah, I think I think we're maybe a little bit fortunate. Like game 1, obviously the paths, we drew like multiple paths and we're just able to win off that. In game 2 there, obviously we made a big misplay with our chump block and through the game. Game 3 we just won because we had a pretty strong hand with powerful auras and a powerful creature. So, thanks everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to leave a like or comment down below if you did. If you're new, be sure to subscribe for daily content and ring that bell for more. Thank you all. I'll see you next time.